Good day, everyone. I'm going to start with this one right here. Life is simple. Can life throw you a curveball here and there? Absolutely. But 90% of life is pretty fucking simple. We complicate it for no reason. So we have to learn how to choose our battles. And not only that, we have to learn how to combat certain things in a very, very simple way. Stop complicating shit. Why are you trying to shove a square peg into a round hole? And then you get so determined to do this thing and it's not going to fit. So you got to figure out a way to make it fit. Now you're going to get your saw and you're going to cut that and you're going to try to fit it. And then this side's a little bigger, a little smaller. And there's certain ways to go about certain things. My girl loves to say this, and I honestly use it for a lot of my life. In 5 years, is this going to matter? Most of the time it's not. In 5 years, is the outcome of this going to matter? In 5 years, is what you're dealing with right now going to matter? It's probably not. In 10 years, in 2 years, in 6 months, is what you're dealing with right now going to matter in the long run? And if it's not, then don't fucking deal with it. So you've got options. And a lot of people take the wrong option because, again, they're in the bubble. They don't realize. Let's say you get mad at a person for whatever reason. That person slighted you for whatever reason. Is it going to matter in 6 months? Is it going to matter in a year? If it's not, you know what you do? Just fucking walk away. Just walk away. Don't even partake in that situation, in that confrontation with the person. If it is going to matter, if it's something that's really going to step over a line of yours, if it's going to be something that's going to affect how you live, how you deal with what you deal with in your house and your home and your peace and all that, absolutely stand up for yourself, choose that battle. Now you have to figure out how to combat that. And this is where the simplicity comes in. If I'm late for something and the guy in front of me is a little slow, do I yell at him? Why am I yelling at him? Should I say something? Maybe. Maybe not. I was at a pizza place and I was waiting for my order. I had to go deliver it. And this guy came in and I ranted about it at home. Guy came in, he's talking. He's an older guy. He lives in Florida as well and comes back and forth. He's talking about the weather. He's talking about real estate. He's talking about this and that. My order comes up and I notice it. And he says, well, let me tell you a story. And it was one of those stories that you needed to know 4 backstories before you could get to the story. Okay. I didn't say anything to the guy, even though I said to myself, this is no time for fucking stories. I just moved over, came to the front, pointing at that. Is that my order? Boom, done. I chose not to get into that conflict, even if I really, really wanted to. Even if I'm saying, what the fuck are you talking about? We've got shit to do. This is a business. Move along. Didn't do that. And you know what? It made my life easier because I didn't go through that confrontation. It made his life easier because he didn't get yelled at and get into a confrontation. It made the business owner life easier because he didn't have to deal with a confrontation. Things are fucking simple. You choose your battles. Let's say that your partner doesn't like doing dishes. Honey, I'm using you as an example, but I'm not using you as the example. I'm using this as the example. Don't get mad at me. Let's say your partner doesn't like to do dishes. So, the first time, second time, whatever, you ask them to do dishes. A couple hours later, dishes aren't done. You might have to start cooking and need some of those things to get done. Is causing an argument or causing a conflict or a discussion right then and there, is that going to wash the dishes faster? Is that going to get things cooking faster? Absolutely not. What's going to get things done faster is you go there, you wash what you need, you get things going. That is not the time to choose to have the battle. You've got other things to do. The next time you say, hey, can you do these dishes last time? And okay, sure, boom, done. Guess what? That battle that you could have had in the beginning would have been useless because the situation ironed itself out. But now let's say the second time, the third time, after you get a little bit of a situation like that, where it's a repeated routine, that's when you have to then, if that's the battle that you want to choose, that doesn't have to even be a battle, just using that as a turn of phrase. But if that's the thing that you want to address, there's a good way to figure that out and address that, and there's a bad way. Now we have to understand how to approach the situation. If you're going to approach that situation attacking, the other person is going to be defensive and maybe even attack back. That's not how we do things. Hey, I noticed that you don't really like doing dishes. Yeah, I really don't. Look, I know that nobody wakes up in the morning going, yes, I have so many dishes to do. We're all like that, okay? Nobody enjoys this action, this chore. How can we do things to limit the amount of dishes? How can we do things to where we balance out the chores and say, okay, you don't like to do dishes. I'll do the dishes, but I also don't like folding clothes. So do you think that we can, you see how easy that became? You see how easy a situation is resolved. 90% of life can be resolved very easily. Here's another, I guess, aspect of this. I had to give my nephew some advice. And won't go into why, but I said, basically, in the future, are you going to regret doing or not doing certain things in your past? That's something that we all really should think about. Your future's past is now. So if you don't want to feel like you missed out, if you don't want to feel regret in the future, then it is now to deal with that situation. Not saying that you have to act on something. Sometimes you cannot act on something, and your future self will be happy about it. Think about that, guys, because is your future self going to be happy with the actions that you're taking right now? Is your future self going to regret taking an action or not taking an action? Yeah, we have to look forward. We can't grow up to be an amalgamation of our regrets. This reminds me of something Akash Singh had said in one of his podcasts, that when he went to his therapist, he asked, he's like, we're all just children. We're all just grown children, because I went to my therapist and I asked, so basically we're just a compilation of all our defense mechanisms as children that have grown up. We've grown up and become these people. And the therapist is like, yeah, pretty much. So if we become a system of things built up from the past is now. So let's change those things. Another little example that I wanted to bring up is in choosing your battles. Again, it doesn't matter how you feel about the man, but listen to a Joe Rogan, and they said, would you ever like get up and put your hands up and try to be intimidating and fight a bear? He was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm running away. I'm not putting my hands up. I'm not doing any of that. I'm running away. I'm going to lose that battle 100% of the time. So they asked, I think it was Andrew Schultz asked him, how about a wolf? Would you like fight a wolf? He's like, no, not at all. A wolf's jaw muscles, and teeth are made to break bones. Absolutely not. This is a man, just again, I don't care how you feel about him. Think about this. This is a man who knows martial arts. I think it was jiu-jitsu and something else. He's a black belt. He works out. He's buff. He's strong. He knows maneuvers when it comes to dealing with humans. That he's probably going to win. He's good section of the population he's probably going to beat. That's why he's black belt. He's still choosing not to fight a wolf. Now, you ask a random person on the street, and I'm going to say maybe 60% of men will be like, yeah, I could take a wolf. This is a man who can take on 90% of the male population of the world. And he's saying, I'm not taking on a wolf. Because he understands what comes with that. He would choose not to take on a wolf. He would choose not to take on a bear. He would choose not to put himself in those situations. He's going to choose to flee when the majority of men are so disillusioned with themselves. Yeah, I'll fight a bear. You're going to die. That is one of the simplest ways that I can put this when it comes to choosing your battles. Really assess this for a second. What are the chances that, let's say, first off, whether it matters or not? Is it going to matter? Second, are you going to be putting too much effort to get the outcome that you're hoping to get? Is the outcome you're hoping to get a less than 10% chance? If you're working for that 10% chance, you're putting in much, much, much more effort than you need to. And thirdly, if this is the battle that you choose, are you going to go into it correctly? Are you going to go into it efficiently? Are you going to go into it thoughtfully? Are you going to weigh out what can happen and what absolutely will not happen, and your success rate and how you can go about that, and the other party, the other person, the other situation? Look at all of these situations. When it comes to choosing your battles, you have to look at all of these things. You can't just be emotion. Like, I want to be right. Okay, and I want a cock that shoots rainbows. We all want something. We all wish something. That doesn't mean that we get it. Sometimes there are people that work hard for that thing and still don't get it. I play pool. I've been to tournaments. I've been to MVPs. I've gotten through first tournament and gotten to the second tournament. I've wanted those wins. I've worked hard for those wins. I've practiced. I've put in hours and hours and years. That doesn't just give me the win. Okay? Even if you work hard at something, that doesn't mean that that's the outcome that you're going to get is the one you want. Maybe there's a compromise. Maybe there's a loss. You just fucking deal with it. But just choose your battles. Is it going to matter in 6 months? Is it going to matter in a year or 5 years or 10 years? If it really is, then how do you go about doing this? And be prepared for the outcome that you wished not to be the outcome that happens. There's a lot of people think that what they wish is what's going to happen. That's not what it is. And one of my favorite sayings, yeah, I wish for a cock that shoots rainbows. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. If it ever did happen, though, I'm showing everybody. Take it easy, y'all.